Indeed.
Yes.
Yes. I spy, with my little eye, something that begins with G.
Is it a Grey Warden? Is it in fact you?
Ooh, you're really good at this.
What is it? I have work to do. What does it say? Ah, I knew this would happen. Just when I was starting to get good. Well, thanks, I guess.
Good day. The market is busy, is it not? Come, rest here. I have the finest selection of flowers and Orlesian-scented oils in all of Denerim. For a lady friend, perhaps? Roses can open any woman's heart, you know. Much of this city is still a mystery to me, but the markets is like my home. Circle and sorcered objects can be found in the wonders of Thedas, in the alleyway north. The armorer, Wade, and his emporium are just to the south. If you need work, outside the rectory to the southeast is a chanter's board. And if your thirst is strong, head to the Nord Noble Tavern north of here. Be prepared, though. They do put on many airs. I am from Orlais. You've heard of us, no? Your Denerim is a fine city, but I miss my Varroyo. She's quite beautiful this time of year. What I miss most are the clothes. The avenue of flowers this time of year has so many colors. And the skirts. Fine wools, cloths, many only the noble-born can afford. Ferelden is more muted. Its fashion's quite old. But I like the people of this city very much. Orlais has many, many good things, but it is sometimes not so good to be common. My brother had trouble with a chevalier and we departed shortly after. A chevalier took an interest in me. It was his right, but it was unwelcome. Incensed, my brother hit him over the head with a pot. Such a thing is almost treason. We left that very night and came here. That and more. Some revere them for their skill and their high service. But others tread lightly. As lightly as the mouse in the cat's den. If you will excuse me, I feel a touch lightheaded.
Edwina sends her thanks for getting rid of the Crimson Oars. Mind you, she's disappointed there was no fighting. Here's payment. You've helped out a great deal.
I saw what you were doing back there.
Oh?
Don't play innocent with me.
What are you talking about?
You playing with that kitten.
There was no kitten.
Sten, I saw you. You were dangling a piece of twine for it.
I was helping it train.
You're a big softy.
We will never speak of this again.
Softy.
Yes, make it quick. Strange. Let's see this. I knew it! I gave that man the best 7 weeks of my life. Well, I guess he won't have me to push around anymore. Ha!
Ooh, glass slippers. Well, aren't you sweet and attentive?
Dwarven crafts. Fine dwarven craft. Direct from Orthamar.
Stop that.
Stop what?
That. Looking at me and giggling.
I can't help it. You're so big and stoic. Who would have thought you'd be a big softy?
Stop saying that. I am a soldier of the Beresad. I am not a softy.
Softy.
I hate humans.
Back off! I was here first! That doesn't matter none to you. I'm an honest businessman. I wasn't bothering nobody, and I was here first. They're mine! Not literally, you understand. They're not my bodies. I mean, I only got one, and I'm not dead or nothing, but I was here first. All right, if it'll make you leave my spot quicker. Dunno, could have been Darkspawn, probably was. Could have been bandits, though. Doesn't matter, really. They're just as dead no matter what did it. Now, how much would that bit of information be worth to you? A sovereign? Sure, that'll do. I knew the guy who was here before me. He sold me this spot. Said he found giants and all kind of crazy valuables. He didn't mention that he'd taken everything but the bones and the dirt already. His name's Ferrin. Squirrely little bastard, if you ask me. Which you didn't, but I said it anyway. So he says. He didn't leave none of it here, I'll tell you. He was going to Orthamar, he said. I imagine he's gotten there by now. If you find him, tell him I sent you. It'll scare the piss out of him. Ha!
More opportunity ahead. Up there, coming fast. It's begun. It's a trap.
Come and get it! Let's make this quick!
hear there's been more fighting. The Queen is determined to see this through, isn't she?
My brother says he's leaving for the Free Marches. Says Ferelden is done for.
Much more of this, and I may have to agree with him.
Step right, maker's breath. Oh, beg your pardon, friend. You, startled me a bit. You've, heard of me?
Where is my sword?
I don't know what you mean, sir. I don't have it, I swear by Andraste's knickers. I sold it on the way here. A dwarf near Redcliffe, Dwin, I think his name was. Thank you. Come again.
Some folks came in yesterday with crazy stories about Redcliffe. You hear about that?
Something about the dead rising and killing everyone in Redcliffe. And Arlema nearly dead from some illness.
Crazy, isn't it? Sounds like the end times.
Maker's breath, as if we don't have enough to worry about. Arlema would back up Terran Logain if you were right. I know he would.
You know, I've heard about the Orlesian bards.
Who hasn't? They are quite famous after all.
The stories I heard were a little racier. It had to do with how a bard assassinated her target. How they were lulled into complacency.
If those stories were true, who would ever agree to entertain a bard in their court?
Oh, I don't know. There's a certain allure to danger, isn't there? And besides, you couldn't all be assassins, could you? I'd take my chances. If the stories were true, that is.
We had rules about that sort of thing. Strict rules.
Such as? You're not gonna tell me, are you?
Let's just say I had plenty of reasons to join the Chantry, shall we? And leave it at that.
What can I do for you? This ought to be interesting. Such diction. This man is a true scholar and rhetorician. I am honored to be fired by one such as he. Good day.
I hear the Regent is saying that any band that doesn't do what he tells them is going to get trounced.
I don't believe that.
I heard it plain as day. They have to fall in line and fight the Darkspawn or he'll make an example. That's the word he used.
That don't sound very Ferelden at all, if you ask me.
Concentrate, like we practiced. Now, fire!
Shall be done. As you said. Very well. Tis begun. I shall do it. Shall be done. Tis begun. Shall be done. I shall do it. Shall be done. Very well. Get off! It's begun.
Here comes trouble!
I'm taking these apprentices to Redcliffe. The first enchanter says you need every able-bodied mage for the war. They're young, but capable enough, as you saw.
If we heed the Master's teaching, if we heed the Master's teachings, move along, friend. Oh, wonderful. I always appreciate correspondence from my upstanding friends in the Collective. On behalf of myself and my men, I thank you. I'll make sure the Collective's generosity is reciprocated. On your way now.
Thank you, kind sir. I'd never have been able to return to my father if it wasn't for you.
My Velena returned. She told me of your daring rescue. I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am. Take this. A reward for your deed. It's dwarven made and should serve you well. That's even kinder of you. Thank you again. I'm forever in your debt.
Go celebrate, or whatever you have to do. Rebuild. Same thing I intended to do before. Except this time, there's more humans left alive to help. First thing I'm gonna do is get some sleep. For about a week. Go celebrate or whatever it is you're gonna do. You won, right? You're a hero. Or something. Go celebrate, or whatever you have to do. If I wanted to fight Darkspawn, I'd have stayed in Orzammar. No thanks. Now, why would you be interested in that?
It's mine.
You know, Farron didn't mention the giant he took it from was alive. 6 sovereigns. That wasn't so hard, was it? It's in my strongbox. Here's the key. Now, why don't you leave me alone?
Finished. Strange. I had almost forgotten it. Completion. Are you sure you are a Grey Warden? I think you must be an Ashkari to find a single lost blade in a country at war. I would thank you for this, if I knew how. And I could deliver a much more satisfying answer to the Arishok's question if the Blight were ended. Don't you agree? Then lead the way. I have been mistaken. You are a soldier worthy to stand among the Beresad. I did not think so when we first met. You are welcome. The day will come when the Arishok sends us here. On that day, I will not look to find you on the battlefield. There is no point in dwelling on it. We should move on. As you wish. Yes, it is good to have my sword at my side again. I call her Asala, the soul, my soul. She is forged from rare blue steel and has served me faithfully for many years. Yes, you understand what it is like to have a weapon that is part of you. Few others do.
You and your friends are formidable folk, indeed. It's good to have you along on the road. I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice.
You have my thanks.
Indeed.
Unexpected. Thank you.
The darkspawn have sensed us. There is no glory in bloodshed!
We have done well.
Very well. No quarter shall be given. Don't give them the advantage! I shall do it. Look there, a cunning trap. It shall be done. It is begun. If we must fight, let us do it quickly.
I fell. For a moment there, I thought I thought it was all over. Everything. I will explain everything when we are back at camp. Now is not the time.
Let us dispatch them quickly. As you say. Quickly, we must fight! It is begun.
Let's end this!
By the Maker!
It is done. Mindless creatures.
It is begun.
I'll try to be merciful. Let's make this quick.
It is begun. As you say. Very well. It shall be done. It is begun. It is begun.
To be praised.
I shall do it. Let us dispatch them quickly. It is begun. Away with you!
Defend yourself.
I think I owe you an explanation for what happened earlier. You should know that something happened to me at the tower before you came along. You spoke to Petra, did you not? She told you I saved her from a demon. I did, but I did not survive that encounter. Let me explain fully. I engaged a very powerful demon to rescue Petra. It sapped me of all my energy and will and left me drained. It took everything I had to defeat it. And when I was done, I no longer had the strength to keep my heart beating. I remember my life ebbing away. Everything receded from me. Sound, light. I remember being enveloped in complete, impenetrable darkness. And then I sensed a presence enfolding me and cradling me, whispering quietly to me. The sensation is impossible to describe. I was being held back, firmly but gently, as a mother would a child, eager to slip from her grasp. I felt life and warmth flowing through my veins again. I began to be aware of small sounds and the discomfort of my hip pressing into the cold stone of the tower floor. The Fade contains spirits both benevolent and malicious. The benevolent spirits seldom make themselves known, because they want nothing from mortals, unlike the demons. It was one of these spirits that saved me. Without it, I would be dead. And it has not left me. It is with me, even now, bonded to me. You see, I am supposed to be dead. It is the spirit that is keeping me in this world. And this is not the way of things. Perhaps the spirit did not expect this, but it is weakening gradually. I am living on borrowed time. Yes, that we will. What's on your mind? I have always had an affinity for the spirits of the Fade. As a child, I never feared my dreams because I knew they were there. I could sense the demons, too, and their presence frightened me. It was the kindly spirits of the Fade that took the fear from me. I've always been able to feel the spirits, even if I never saw them. And as I nurtured my talent in the circle, I became more sensitive. I began to notice every time I was in the Fade, whether it was in a dream or in magical practice, that I was being watched. I suppose they must. It is these benevolent spirits that create our dream worlds in the Fade. Sometimes I would see it, a glowing, nebulous form. Most times I would just feel its presence, gentle and comforting, but somehow alien. I think it is a spirit of faith. They have never been seen before, and perhaps I am wrong. But something tells me I'm not. It always felt like the same entity. This one spirit was curious about me, and was guarding me, for want of a better word. There were times when I was in the Fade that it seemed to stretch forth to shield me, keeping me safe. And I think it gave me strength in my most terrible battles, Ostagar being one of them. I don't know why I was chosen. Perhaps it knew that there was something more that lay in store for me. I like to think that I was given a rare chance, and I'm going to make the best of the time so generously given to me. I will not lie motionless in a bed with coverlets up to my chin, waiting for death to claim me. That is not the death for me. And so I will fight alongside the Grey Warden, and help prepare him for the task that is yet before him. So you had better listen to me, because I swear, if I should fall before the end and you don't seem to be doing things properly, I'll get up again to give you a good finger-wagging. You know, I think you'll be all right, even without my help. What's on your mind? Cure me? What, am I sick now? Even you know that you cannot cure the dead. And I'm not the only one dying. You are too. I'm just more efficient about it. Ah, child, your concern is heartwarming. But death comes to everyone, and it is not something to fear. People fear not death, but having life taken from them. Many waste the life given to them, occupying themselves with things that do not matter. When the end comes, they say they did not have time enough to spend with loved ones, to fulfill dreams, to go on adventures they only talked about. But why should you fear death if you are happy with the life you have led? If you can look back on everything and say, yes, I am content. It is enough. I think I've led a good life, a full life, and I, for one, am not afraid of death, whatever it may bring. They say that when you die, your spirit travels through the fade and returns to the Maker. And after that, we'll see, won't we?
Indeed.
Yes.
Yes.
Darkspawn has set me. Very well. Shall we? It's begun.
I never liked this part. Make a preserver. Let's make this quick. That was interesting and draining. I called forth the spirit that sustains me so that it could lend us aid. I did not realize it would take this much out of me. It seemed a good idea at the time, if a little rash. I think it may have weakened the spirit a little. Anyway, I feel quite all right now. And it seems that my little trick could be useful in a pinch. I promise I'll be careful. And thank you. Your concern is touching.
Darkspawn!
I shall do it. It shall be done. Very well.
What's on your mind? It is no trouble.
Liliana, what do you want from me?
Nothing. I'm just curious. There's a lot we don't know about you, Sten. Except that you're a big softie.
Please stop saying that.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make fun of you. There's nothing wrong with having a heart, Sten. It's just not what I expected.
Why?
You're so Kunari. All the stories speak as if you were a hurricane or an earthquake rather than people.
Kunari are most dangerous because we are thinking men and not an unthinking force.
I don't understand. What do you mean?
For your sake, I hope you never find out.
Magic exists to serve man and evil.
A little something extra. For friendship.
You can stop flinching, Sten. I'm not going to harm you.
I do not fear harm to myself.
What is that supposed to mean?
An unbound mage is like a wildfire, as prone to simply consume itself as it is to devour all that surrounds it.
I do wish you wouldn't refer to mages as it.
Dwarven crafts. Fine dwarven crafts. Direct from Orzammar.
Do you miss the cloister much? I heard you were quite happy there.
Yes, I was generally. It was peaceful and it gave me a new start. No one knew who I was, but sometimes I am glad I am away and back on the road. There were bothersome things about the place. Well, bothersome people. Some of the brothers and sisters would talk to you like the chant they spoke was more pleasing to the Maker. Oh, I hated the way they talked down at me. So sometimes I forget the words to the chant, or say them wrong. But so what? The Maker looks into your heart, no? So it doesn't matter what your lips say, as long as your heart is true.
I think you're missing the point, my dear. The chantry believes the chant of light should be spread around the world. You cannot spread it if those that are speaking the chant are speaking it incorrectly.
But I came to the Maker before I had even heard all of the chants. The Maker speaks to people. They just don't know how to listen. It is all a power game, I think. If they convince others they know more, then they must be respected.
Child, it is precisely this kind of talk that made them wary of you. Opinions that differ from your own are always threatening.
It's a trap. Enemies approaching. As you say, I shall do it. It's begun. Shall we go? Very well. I shall do it. Very well. It is begun. Shall we go? It is begun. Very well. I shall do it. As you say. Shall we go? The task is finished. Something comes. Look there, coming trap. Very well. Now you fall. You say. More enemies ahead. Very well. Shall we? As you say. Very well. It is begun. Very well. Hold it! Enough! I shall do it. Shall be done. As you say. I shall do it.
Right ahead. Here comes trouble! I never liked this part.
Shall be done. It is over. It's a trap. I shall do it. As you say.
You forced our hands.
Begun. Very well. What now? I'm done. The task is finished. Look there, a cunning trap. 'Tis begun. As you say. Very well. I shall do it. Shall we not? 'Tis begun. As you say.
I never liked this part.
Very well. I shall do it. It shall be done. I shall do it. As you say. It is begun. Very well. It is begun. As you say. It shall be done. It is begun. I shall do it. Very well. I shall do it. It shall be done. It is begun. It shall be done. Very well. Now we do battle. I shall do it. Very well. Another vanquished. It shall be done. It is begun. As you say. Very well. I shall do it. It shall be done. It is begun. As you say. Very well. I shall do it.
Make a preserver.
Now you fall. It is begun. That should not have taken us long as it did. It shall be done. Damn you! Finished.
I know not how you have survived thus far. Is it luck or providence? No matter. You will not survive this!
Enemies approaching. I shall do it. Careful! I will not take it.
There is much to do.
More enemies ahead. It has begun. Shall be done. I shall do that.
Another down. Very well.
Now.
You remind me of Lady Cecily.
Who?
She was an Orlesian lady. My mother served her until she died, and Lady Cecily let me stay instead of turning me out on the street. You are like her in some ways. You have the same poise, the same air of nobility.
Oh, child, I am hardly noble.
I learned that nobility isn't just something you are born with. I have met nobles who are very petty and mean, complete degenerates. Then, there are people with a certain dignity and grace. It draws you to them, no matter who you are or who they are. I think the lowest peasant can have the most noble spirit, and it will always shine through. It is this nobility of spirit that you share with Cecily.
Why, thank you, Leliana. It is very kind of you to say that.